Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Pulse of Finns Nation. I'm your host, Louis Sung, and now joining me is my co-host, nurse. I don't know. Because if I'm taking the Pulse of Finns Nation, does that make me Dr. Sung? I don't know. So my good friend Ronald, I know it's like what he did.
I'm not sure what this was supposed to be.
You take the pulse, man. You take the pulse.
More like proctology, but okay.
We're taking the pulse of Finns Nation. That's what this show is all about. It is about you, the audience.
Fans have been doing for 20 years.
Yes,
taking it like this.
Yes,
and we're hoping that finally turns around.
Exactly. We're basically like we've been taking bad exams. It's like, oh, finally the torture is over. So hopefully that's what happens in 2021. So Mr. Caniff, my good friend Ronald Caniff, you can find him at you've changed your handle so many times, man. What is it now?
At Ron Caniff TT.
At Ron Caniff TT. Okay, so find him on Twitter. I'm at Louis D. Sung, and together we are going to take your pulse, everybody. So we're just gonna jump right into it. So first, again, I want to say thank you to everybody who liked and commented on the previous video. So once again, if you do want to be as a priority on our show, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below, as well as hitting the like button, the subscribe button, all the buttons that make YouTube tick. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
Raging Dolphins Maniac. This is his comment. They did try to get a top-notch running back 2 times and came up empty because they didn't want to overpay. Okay. I'm wondering which 2 times he was thinking about. They will get one through free agency or in the next draft. They filled out all their major needs except 2. Next season's record, 13-4.
So the 13-4 kind of feels a little optimistic, I guess. It kind of feels like we're gonna. This sounds 13-4 sounds like winning the division, don't you think?
I don't know. I think Buffalo could probably
only lose 3 games.
14 wins. Yeah, wow. I anticipate them being as good or better. That's my thought. I'm hoping not. I'd like to see, for the Dolphins' sake, I'd love to see Josh Allen take a step back and the Bills take a step back. Which sometimes teams that kind of hit that AFC championship or NFC championship or even sometimes go to the Super Bowl, then they really take a step back. But I'm not anticipating it. I'm thinking it's going to be a fight if we were to want to win the division. But I don't disagree with the record he has. I'm thinking more 12-5, but I don't disagree with him. I'm trying to think about which 2 times we were trying to get a top-notch quarterback. Maybe trying to get Najee Harris in the draft, possibly rumors of trying to trade up. And we know we tried to get
Aaron Jones from
who
went back to Green Bay.
Yeah, who ended up going back to Green Bay. So that
is he maybe thinking Melvin Gordon, Le'Veon Bell?
Well, no, because we could have Le'Veon Bell right now if we wanted. Was he thinking about it maybe last year in 2020 when we tried to get Le'Veon Bell? Yeah,
maybe, possible. Or maybe he's referring to the last 2 drafts, and we could have had Jonathan Taylor, we could have had J.K. Dobbins, we could have had DeAndre Swift, we could have had.
The Dolphins most likely aren't going to give up much draft cap. Not to say any, because that's not true. We're pretty sure that they have tried to move up a few times for running backs, but they're not willing to give up too much draft capital to move up for a running back. They prioritize other positions a whole lot more than running back. Not that they don't want to have a good running back. Clearly they do. There's just there's a certain value they put at that position, and it's probably not the value of most other positions on the team.
Yeah, it's right up there with punter.
No, I wouldn't say that, but I would say that, if you took out the special teams players, I mean, it seems to be in the bottom. If you just prioritize the positions themselves, it seems to be more on the back quarter, if you will, as to where they prioritize that spot and where they value it. I should say. I don't want to say prioritize it. I say where they value it as far as what are they willing to pay money wise, and what are they willing to give up draft pick wise. And they think that it's better to put that in other positions. And I understand, because if you have a car that you buy this car and it's going to be awesome for 3 years and then totally the engine's going to blow up, versus a car like a Honda that's going to last 10 years, well, what are you going to prioritize? Yeah, you really want that car that's going to be awesome for 3 years and blow up, but how much you're going to put into that versus the other.
if it's the only piece missing, I'm gonna put in a lot. That's just me.
But it still wasn't. In this draft, it still wasn't the only piece missing. Now, maybe we could hopefully say that next year, but I don't think we could have said that going into this free agency and draft this year. This is from QB Data Mine, and it's just going to be giving you stats, so let's just see your opinion on it.
Okay.
Tua Tagovailoa was accurate on 23 of 51 intermediate passes, 41.5% last season, 31st out of 31 qualifying quarterbacks. Intermediate passes are balls thrown to receivers 11 to 20 yards past the line of scrimmage. What say you to that there, Lewis?
I mean, it tells me that intermediate passes they're a big part of the game, don't get me wrong, but we have to keep remembering why we put such a strong emphasis on getting weapons in this past draft, why we got Will Fuller, why we got Jalen Waddle, why we picked up Hunter Long because he's going to be able to block and catch passes. That's why we still haven't gotten rid of Albert Wilson and Allen Hurns and Jakeem Grant and all these other guys who are supposedly on the roster bubble, because they're trying to see which weapons can Tua actually utilize the best, because that's what they're actually working on right now. They're running around in their underpants. I get it. I understand. But it's not the full training camp, pads are on type of deal. But this is what this is all about. We're trying to see about making an offense that best suits what Tua does. And you being the Alabama guy, you would probably know more about what it is that Tua does best than I do.
Yeah. One thing. Here's my thought on this. Number one, we know that Tua was coming off the injury. I know it's going to sound like a boatload of excuses. I know what I always like to say. People say, don't give me excuses. Well, I won't give you excuses. I'm going to give you reasons. Most people thought Tua wouldn't even play last year. So the fact that he was even on the field, to me, was just awesome. And the fact that he was able to gain 9 games of experience was awesome. We clearly saw that he can be accurate with the ball when, in the setup right, and the guys can catch it, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I know this isn't about catch rate. This was more about the accuracy of the throw. I think, obviously, we just really had a ragtag, especially once the injuries hit.
But how do those
Devontae
stats get
Parker
compiled?
was hurt.
How do those stats get compiled, though? Is it because
that I'm not 100% sure
because
about.
if they drop the pass, does that knock him down?
No, I think just guessing. I'm guessing it's just based off throw and not necessarily if it was dropped or not. It's like if I would think they'd consider an accurate throw if it was just dropped. But all that being said, I'll just kind of sum it up. Obviously, we've had a big improvement on the weapons right now. And I really think that if Albert Wilson makes the roster, he could be very valuable to Tua. I kept saying that last year, so it's not Monday Morning Quarterback. I was saying all last year, boy, Albert Wilson really would have fit well with Tua. We know Waddle fits well. Now, I've actually seen the argument on Twitter. I should try to find that. Of people telling me how about Waddle's not right for Tua. I'm like, huh?
Like, how does that even work?
What?
I mean, they literally were favorite targets together in college.
Yeah, so
how are they not work for Tua?
People just make up anything when it comes to Tua. But I'm just excited about the weapons that we're going to have. I think he's going to be more confident. But here's the big thing I wanted to bring up. I'm glad I didn't forget. RPO. There have been those who have said in the college world that Tua is the best RPO quarterback they've ever seen in their life. That is his specialty. When we talk about we're going to do an offense of what Tua does best, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be RPO. I have zero doubt on that. It's going to be tons of RPO. Now, some people are thinking, well, if you can't run the ball, how are you going to do RPO? Well, that's a different story. But I still say that this year's offense is going to be much improved because it's going to be, in my opinion, mostly driven through RPO. And, it's interesting. If you go back and look at a few of the pictures from this past week, right? And if you look at Tua, and there's a few different pictures of Tua handing off the ball to the running back. Watch where Tua's eyes were when he was handing off that ball. Did you see where he was looking? He was not looking at the running back. He was not watching the ball go into the breadbasket of the running back. He was looking forward at the linebackers. He was looking past the line. That's a 100% indicator right there that is an RPO handoff. That is exactly what that is. So Tua's going to be good at it. It's a matter of how good can Gaskins and the other running backs really get at it. I mean, they're going to be the ones that have to, it almost looks like they're going to hand it off. Is he going to hand it off? Is he not? You know what I mean? They have to be equal. They all have to be in sync with that. But Tua is definitely, I think, going to be doing a lot of RPO. I think that's going to help as well in general because he did that very, very well at Bama. I have no worry about his arm strength, and I have no worry about his accuracy, especially. FYI, I went into the search key and I put Tua trash and just thought what I could find. So if you were wondering where I'm getting these from, that's where all these mostly came up.
All right, hit me with it. This is the pulse of Vince Nation. This is what their heart.
This is from a Dolphins fan. From a Dolphins fan. Oh, how I love the Tua went 6-3 BS argument. Tebow in 2011 went 8-5 for the Broncos. Who do we say deserves the credit for his 8-5 record? The defense. If Miami doesn't have a quality defense, Tua could have easily went 1-8 or 2-7. Tua is trash, and he's going to be traded.
Okay, this sounds like exactly more of the same stuff that I mentioned the last show, is that we're having quarterback envy here. These are the same people. I'm gonna semi-call out my boy Juan here, who's basically been on the Deshaun Watson train all this time. It's just to get Deshaun Watson, trade for Deshaun Watson. He'll instantly make the team a Super Bowl contender. I am not gonna argue that Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers is not better than Tua. Of course they are.
He would, but nobody within 30 square miles of the Miami Dolphins Stadium will be able to get an appointment with a massage therapist because they'll have them all booked. But yes, maybe he would bring us to the Super Bowl. Go ahead.
Jesus.
Hey, it's been a while since you podcasted. Hey, it's been a while since you podcasted with me, Lewis. You forgot how I am, didn't you?
No, it's been a while.
A quick refresher.
It's like, we'll talk about taking the pulse. But anyway, so all I'm gonna say about that is that the idea that Tua is like, this is where it gets frustrating again. He says that Tua is trash because the defense bailed him out. Okay, let's be fair about something. The defense did a lot of the heavy lifting. We can't deny that that's the truth. They did a lot of work, and they scored a lot of defensive touchdowns, and that in many cases did make a difference. So now here's the difference. Were the games lost because Tua was trash, and did the defense have to pick up the slack? That's the difference. Did Tua make mistakes? Yeah, he kind of got bailed out a couple of times. There were a couple of things where we looked at it last year, and I think even you can admit it, that he kind of made a throw. It's like, ooh, that should have been picked off.
To say he was perfect last year, boy, I know what. A lot of people are just so up in how amazing Justin Herbert is. I tell you what, I got a good look at Justin Herbert against Miami.
Yeah,
and he was playing so good. He was they literally said they were scared to throw the ball. Justin Herbert's such an amazing quarterback, but yet you were scared to throw the ball. I mean, it says a lot about the Dolphins' defense, but come on, rookies are rookies, man. They're not going to play perfect.
And I've said this before. Gunslinger quarterbacks are much more likely to find success early on in their careers than the surgical procedure type of quarterbacks like Tua, who need some time to get used to seeing NFL defenses.
Exactly. I agree. 100%. So
Herbert
we'll see what the second year looks like for Herbert. Yeah, we'll see what the second year looks like for Herbert. But I don't know that this guy's going to come out and throw for 40 touchdowns and 4,500 yards like everybody seems to think he's going to. Yes. But I think Tua's going to have a good season this year.
I do too. I think that everybody's going to. Here's the thing. I don't think Tua's going to be the next Marino. I don't think he's going to be the next Drew Brees. At least not right away. He's gonna be.
I think he could be Russell Wilson.
He could. Well, can he run like that?
He's a good runner, man. Tua can run. I mean, we saw him run last year. He can run. Yeah. People, I have another comment. I'm gonna leave it alone. So until we get there, but
okay, we'll get.
Tua can run. He's not a running quarterback, but he can definitely run. Now this one's more of a comment. This is actually a comment I heard on 3 yards per carry.
Oh yeah.
From Chris Kaufman. Chris Kaufman was asking, why is Flo so much more pumped for the Florida Panthers hockey games than he is for the Fins games? And I thought that was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty hilarious. I agree. Have you seen those videos of Flo hyping it up for the Florida Panthers?
Well, you know what? At that point, Coach Flores is a fan. He's watching the game. He's getting to enjoy himself. He can sit, relax, and if the Panthers succeed, great. If they don't, he doesn't have to answer questions at the podium later. So at that point, he can kind of relax and say, okay, this is not my element, but I can chill. I can relax. This is not my problem. Let the coach of the Panthers deal with it if they get their butts kicked.
Absolutely. So the one's being a fan and enjoying yourself and relaxing, and the other is about getting the work done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, obviously. So
I
just thought that was funny. I mean, Chris was obviously kidding. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I just thought it was funny. I listen to that show 3 yards per carry all the time. It is my favorite Dolphins podcast.
And of course, you can always find them, and you can subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports Network, and you can also get the 3 yards per carry on podcasting networks everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening to this show and you're not listening to 3 yards per carry, I'd consider that kind of weird. But, for probably...
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it, man.
No, I'm just saying there might be a person or two. There might be a person or two that discovered this before they discovered 3 yards per carry, but you'd think it'd be the other way around. All right, I got another one for you, and it's just more of a paraphrase. I'm gonna bring up a name that really is catching all the ire from Dolphins fans right now.
All right.
Colin Cowherd. First of all, I want to say that I respect Colin Cowherd as a professional. I think he's amazing at what he does. Yes, he has a lot of bad takes. Number one, his job is he is not a true analyst. He's a reaction guy. His job is to entertain, right? He's not a film guy. He'll tell you that, et cetera, et cetera. But my issue with him and others like him is the fact that they're stuck right now on quarterbacks on trait guy. Like they instantly see, oh, this guy's 6'4", big arm, runs. Oh, that guy's better than Tua because Tua's 6 foot and I don't think he runs as well. And I don't think his arm is strong, although we've seen plenty of. No, it's not as strong as Justin Herbert. Almost nobody's is. He has a really strong arm, but we know that Tua can absolutely just hurl the ball downfield and with accuracy.
Do you know the problem with Colin Cowherd, Ron? The problem with Colin Cowherd is that before the draft, he was saying in public that Tua should have been the first quarterback off the board, and that when he's going to be the shoo-in to be the best quarterback in the NFL over Herbert, over Burrow, and that was before everything that went wrong. Now all of a sudden he's a Miami Dolphin, and suddenly Tua's terrible. Tua didn't live up to expectations. Tua can't do this. Tua can't. Where was all that before the draft happened?
I'll say this for Colin Cowherd: he's one guy that will admit when he's wrong. He even has a segment in his show almost every day where Colin was right and where Colin was wrong. If he's wrong, he'll admit it. He'll just admit it.
Where is the Colin double talked his way into something completely different segment? Because he said Tua was the best QB. Tua was the first one off the board. Tua was this. Tua was that. And then now he's a Dolphin. All that stuff he said before,
it doesn't mean anything. I understand. Exactly. I get it. Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right.
And he acts like I never said that. This Tua was always terrible. Like, no, your words, not ours, said this. Like, we have receipts that say you said X, Y, Z, and you go all the way back around the alphabet.
This is a tweet from Big E, so we all know who Big E is.
Oh, our boy Big E. All right.
He's the guy that said I didn't use the actual name on the draft card in the 7th round and decided we really need a running back and just took it. Because he was the best. He was the best out of the ESPN ranking. Just kidding. All right. Per Paul Feinbaum on ESPN, who watched every snap of Tua when he was with Alabama, Tua is about to break out, quote unquote, and quote, he is set up for a huge second season. Do you feel good about hearing Paul Feinbaum say that, or does it really not necessarily matter that he saw, what he saw in college versus, I don't know how much NFL Paul Feinbaum. Does that make you feel good and feel confident when you hear somebody say that about Tua versus like Chris Sims, who still insists that Jarrett Stidham, who is now the 4th-string quarterback on the Patriots, is better than Tua? Which one makes you nervous? Does it make you nervous because Chris Sims is more of an NFL guy versus Paul Feinbaum is a college guy, or does it really not matter?
I mean, listen, if he's a college analyst and he's a college commentator, then obviously he does have something to say about these guys, because it's not like Tua was 10 years ago in college, he did X, Y, or Z. Tua is still pretty fresh off of his college career. So, of course, he has something that there is to say. Now, again, think about the talent level that Tua had in Alabama, and we can't dismiss it. You yourself have admitted that the level of talent that he had in Alabama, he had Jalen Waddle, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, and Devonta Smith was there.
He had the best running backs. He had the best, he had the best one of the best O lines. Like it's just it's never
And
ending.
so
He had
what did he have
so
in
much.
Miami last season? We had a rookie left tackle, Austin Jackson, who again, it wasn't like he was
Well,
bad.
he
He
had
was
3 starting rookies on that
so,
team.
Austin Jackson, Solomon Kinley, Robert Hunt,
Yeah.
and then you had Ted Karras,
Who was not a great center.
and Jesse Davis at right tackle when it wasn't Robert Hunt.
Yeah, was definitely tougher at
they
O-line for
flip-flopped each
sure.
other.
Running back,
I
we
almost
know
forgot
the
about
issues
Eric.
we had.
You know what? I had forgotten about Eric Flowers. He
Eric
started
Flowers
both
was
left guard. So Kinley was at
fairly
right.
solid.
So and at the end of the season, the weapons that Tua had was Lynn Bowden Jr., Isaiah Ford. You couldn't even say Jakeem Grant because even Grant missed games. So you couldn't even say that much. So
Yeah.
you had Bowden, you had Durham Smythe, Adam Shaheen, and
Gesicki. He had Gesicki the whole. Oh, until he got hurt towards
He got
the end.
hurt.
That's true. I
Like,
forgot
he
about
got-
that too. I forgot that they didn't have Gesicki either.
Every
Wow, man, we really got depleted, didn't we?
every
Jeez.
single weapon that you could have pointed at and said, yes, that's a good weapon, gone, kaput. You couldn't even pretend with Grant anymore because Grant was gone too.
Justin Herbert definitely had better weapons to throw to for sure.
Oh, for
I
sure.
mean, absolutely. I can't speak to their O-line. I can't speak that I'm an expert on the Chiefs O-line, but he definitely had better weapons to throw to.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how depleted the offense.
And
was.
also, you have to think Justin Herbert had an offensive coordinator designing an offense and calling plays for Justin Herbert to succeed, whereas the Miami Dolphins had the opposite of that. They had an
Jan
offense
Haley.
that was designed and plays for Ryan Fitzpatrick to succeed.
Who and
Not
this is
Tua.
and before anybody brings up the argument, because I know that there are people thinking about this. Well, Ryan Fitzpatrick made it work where Tua did not. Okay, it's not even that the offense was designed for him. It's that they're two different quarterbacks. Fitzpatrick,
They
their
wouldn't
play
even call
styles
the
are
same
completely
plays.
different.
It was clear they weren't even calling the same plays and doing the same things. Like it
Yes.
just on offense, they just weren't. But
They found the quote unquote Tua plays in the Ryan Fitzpatrick playbook. That's not how they're built. Fitzpatrick is if you had made Justin Herbert the choice, he would have succeeded in the Ryan Fitzpatrick offense. Because that's how they play. They're gunslingers, both of them.
yeah, absolutely.
Tua is surgical. Steve Young, Drew Brees. Find the open guy. Be efficient. That's not Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick is about as inefficient as you can possibly get. But he's fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. That's why I loved Fitz. He was a lot of fun to
Oh,
watch.
he's absolutely fun. Yeah, I mean,
But
get it.
you don't
I
know
get
if you're
that's
gonna
why
win
people
every
miss
week.
him, but yeah, exactly. You're holding your breath every time he throws the ball. Okay, so here's a comment from me that I know I tweeted this out somewhere, and I'll have to find the tweet, but I just paraphrasing here.
Okay.
Drafting wide receivers over O-line early shows confidence in your quarterback. Drafting O-line, you're either starting a complete rebuild or think your QB is average and want to protect him, give him time, and run the ball. I point that out because two teams were expected. We knew the Dolphins were drafting wide receiver. Like the ones who paid close attention knew that we were drafting wide receiver. The talking heads and the media guys that weren't really analysts, but they're just talking heads, guys like Colin or whoever, they were more on the train that Miami might go offensive line. And it was the same thing, even more for Cincinnati. Like everybody thought, oh, they're going Sewell. You gotta protect. But they went Chase. We went Waddle. And I truly believe, and I want your opinion on it, when you're doing that, you're saying, we like the quarterback we have. We don't think we need to get the perennial left tackle or right tackle to protect him because we think we can manage with what we have and get him a weapon because we think our quarterback's good enough to get him the ball. Versus, we better put in this lineman here and we'll figure out wide receiver somewhere else because we really just need to give him more time and try and run the ball more because we're not as confident in our quarterback. That's my thought process and how both those teams felt about their quarterback with the draft spot, the draft choices of Chase and Waddle. What say you?
I don't know if I agree with that assessment, just because it depends.
That's fair.
Because it depends on the situation at hand. We already invested heavily on offensive line as it was, and even though we didn't pick Penny Sewell, it's not like we didn't invest even more in it. Liam Eichenberg is definitely no slouch when it comes to his ability to block. That Notre Dame offensive line,
Absolutely.
As of this recording, Austin Jackson just recently got off a press conference with the media, and he basically said that he was very impressed by that whole offensive line. Eichenberg, they've already started to work together. So it's not
and Eichenberg's going to right tackle. They're gonna, even though that's to his blind side, they're gonna put Eichenberg at right tackle and leave Austin Jackson at left tackle, in my opinion.
I wouldn't doubt it even in the slightest. So I'm not going to say that picking wide receiver over offensive line is more proof that they have confidence in Tua. I will say that it's more proof that they had a lack of confidence in the actual weapons at hand. Because let me tell you something. What do you need more when you already have a young left tackle? You already have a young left guard. You already invested in a new center in Matt Skura, regardless of whether you think he's going to do it or not.
He's probably still a one-year rental again.
Maybe so, but you know what? They still invested, and if he can fix the snapping, he is probably one of the better centers out there because his blocking is top-notch.
Well, he had the yips. So let's see if he's gotten past that yet.
That's what I just said. That it's like if he fixed the snapping problem, he's one of the better centers in the league.
Yes, yeah, he was. I mean, he has shown that he can be. I still think it might be a one-year rental, but we'll see on that. But again, they've almost fixed the entire line. One more position, center. That's it.
It was only one. It was only. It's not. And this is let's make this about Matt Skura right now because Matt Skura, he's been a center for a while. It's not like all his career he's been struggling with center because if he had, he would have been moved to guard already a long time ago. So
no doubt.
It's only last year, and it was only a couple of games that something like snapped in his brain, and he couldn't get it right anymore.
But Lewis, he couldn't even get on the field, man. It was that bad.
It was in the middle of a playoff run. They didn't want to blow it. I can understand that.
I get it, but it was bad. But I don't hate that they picked up Matt Skura. I would have liked to see them get a center, but I mean, you can't do everything. If it had been the year before,
we would have thought that Skura was a home run signing.
Absolutely, but we wouldn't have got him for what we got him for.
Correct.
Either. So it would have been a more big time free agent type signing versus what we did this year. So we'll see. Maybe he works out and we get to sign him to an extension. Maybe we got a deal.
That would be the best thing ever, honestly, if we could just take care of the center position just like that.
Oh, that'd be nice because
he'd probably be the best center we've had since Mike Pouncey.
Yeah,
he would probably be the best center since Pouncey, if that were the case.
We wouldn't have to invest another draft pick or go through free agency. We just have our guy. We know he works. We know he works in the system. We know he works with Tua. That would be fantastic. I'm really hoping he works. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm fine to see how it goes. I don't trust Dieter there. I mean, I don't even know if Dieter makes this team. I'm not sure.
He'll be the backup center.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, he might be.
There's no one else, Ron. There's no one else unless you're going to teach someone to snap.
Dieter is the difference, in my opinion. Dieter and maybe Wilkins taking like that next step between that, because people like to dog that. People like the 2020 draft. Obviously, everybody's on the 2021 draft, but we haven't seen by play yet. People like to dog that 2019 draft from the Dolphins a little bit. The first Flores Greer draft and say it was not even average. To me, the difference is if Dieter had worked out and really could have been a starting lineman, if you go back and you look at that draft, Wilkins maybe kind of
wasn't Dieter under the Gase regime because
he was drafted. He was the first drafted the draft from the Greer flow, and I just don't think.
That's right. Yeah, because we're
and I just think that if that had been not even saying a home run hit, but a good, good, decent, solid starter, you're talking about a draft that most people are kind of dogging a little bit to a draft that was actually a pretty good draft. I personally think the draft we just had is a draft that's we're going to look back and say, this is why we're in Super Bowl contention, this 2021 draft. I don't know that we'll see that from rookies this year, though, but I think in 2022, 2023, we're going to look to this 2021 draft and say, holy crap, man, did we just crush it in that draft. It really made the difference in our team. It's why our defense is from a top 5 to like the best in the league kind of thing. And Lewis, we've been talking about this for years. How many times have I wanted to see our team take a defense that looked like it was maybe on the cusp a little bit and just keep trying firing at it to really bring it up to like a ridiculous level. Yeah, and I think Jalen Phillips and Holland might have done that. I really do, with what else we have in place as well. But anyway, that's all the comments and tweets I brought for you today, sir.
All right, so in that case, we're gonna go ahead and call it here. So thank you all so much for joining us. We're gonna keep playing with this. We're gonna keep experimenting with this concept because I really wanted to make it so that I'm not the only doctor in the house here checking the pulse of Fins Nation. So we're gonna have more opportunities to go through all of your comments, all of your tweets, all of your Facebook comments. And of course, if you want to be featured on the show, you make sure that you leave a comment in the comment section below. And you can follow us. You can follow me at Louis D. Sung. You can follow Ron at Ron Caniff TT, and that's on Twitter, of course. So with all that said, thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next time.